Hi everyone, this is Daisy. I wanted to come back and post another video for my LinkedIn viewers. So I've just been making some of these videos because I feel like that's easier in regards to getting the word out on some of the changes that are going to be happening in the tech industry, the scientific community, the business community, the environmental industry, the food industry, the meatpacking industry, etc. So one of the things that I want to talk about today is logistics, production, and supply and demand. So currently what's happening is there's a lot of information about shortages on food, shortages on textiles, shortages even on labor, and shortages in specific areas of talent. And it's all because of the virtual reality simulation that got started by Kamala Harris and the California Endowment as a way to gang stalk and harass specific people of color because of our indigenous background. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what is the result of this and why they were doing this in the first place. So a lot of you guys don't know that some of the things that you're eating, some of the things that you enjoy, everyday products are from space. One of the things that's really funny is I think it's so funny when I go out and about to like Marshalls or different stores like Ralph's or Safeway or Whole Foods. And because I know where some of these things are coming, I'm like, wow, this is from space. Wow, how did they get their hands on that? Whoa, this is really interesting. Just to see how things are changing now because of what had happened and how these indigenous planets and cultures are completely cutting off a lot of the white supremacist businesses that are in alignment with space tech and NASA and SpaceX, et cetera, and some of the other space companies that you guys have not heard about because they operate in the background with the Department of Defense, how they're completely cutting them off from entering their planet, gaining their supply and whatnot. And a little example of that is the other day I went to the store to go look for a shower caddy. And I couldn't find a shower caddy that was affordable. And come to find out that there's a specific chemical element, metal, that doesn't exist on this planet that actually blocks water from getting into the metal and eating it up over time. That's why you can have shower caddies for years and they don't rust and things like that. And because of that, now you cannot find an affordable shower caddy, right? Isn't that so funny? That's just one example, but I'm going to show you a few other examples of some of these things that are from space and why you're not going to be seeing them along in just a few moments. Some of these plants that you guys are currently seeing, there's all these new classes of plants and things like that. They're all from space. A lot of those plants are for what we call divination, and they're being brought to this planet. Oh, just as house plants, they're pretty, they're cute, and people are making a bunch of money off of it. But in space, what ends up happening is entire indigenous planets get captured. They're raided. Women are put into sex trafficking. Children are taken and put into scientific testing and whatnot, being brought here onto the planet and put into foster care in order for white businesses to be able to have money. It's a very sinister practice. And some of you guys have even benefited from this practice and you didn't even know, like, oh, I didn't know my supplier was getting that from space. I didn't know that that's where that was coming from, especially for those of you guys who engage in the beauty industry. Some of these like oil products and skin products and hair products and whatnot, they all come from space, right? And that's why when you guys saw me put up the digital pharmacy and some of these works that I put up, you saw the backlash that came and the attacks that came because we're stopping that completely. There's actually no need for that. But a lot of the hyperdimensional cultures, because of white supremacy, slavery, Jim Crow, Abu Ghraib, different disrespects, Viet Cong, the ways in which indigenous people have been treated, they've completely removed their works from these planets, right? So you guys have seen these cloths that they tout around in the indigenous community. These are for divination, and a lot of them have been removed from the planet. So you may see some of these, but they're not activated for divination, and they're just different colors put together, right? Some of you guys have seen some of those, right? These are what we call works from certain indigenous communities. Some of you guys know about cell phones. These actually have been existing for thousands of years, and these are some of the ways in which different indigenous cultures actually communicated with their higher selves, communicated with allied cultures, allies, their planets, were able to send messages, tracked who was coming in and out of their planets, tracked the health of their plants and crops and things like that for thousands of years, and then they created the cell phone, right? So one of the things that's going to start to happen is this information is going to become very much more prevalent, and it's not going to happen through white folks gang stalking people of color who have this information in virtual reality, stalking and harassing people, using spyware on individuals, putting screen share on individuals' computers and things like that to get this information and then go present it at conferences when it's not even a quarter baked in order to get clout or seem popular or seem knowledgeable. And a lot of the information that we have right now about biomimicry actually comes from space. It comes from indigenous people who traded on their culture, or who were what we call illegals. They weren't supposed to be around anyways, right? They went and took certain information and knowledge from the high priests and priestesses of that culture and gave it to white individuals who are running around space, who are actually like illegal aliens. Like that's where that whole thing came from. The whole process of naturalization actually was originated in the 1920s when they first got exposed, playing with a certain president. He was like, "Oh, you guys are all aliens. Like, what the heck?" And then that's where the whole concept of immigration and naturalization came from. So there's a lot of information out about that, which is why the United Nations, Department of Defense, and the United States government keeps on passing laws about space, and why there's a space commission in the first place. It's from space. It's from space. It's from space. So I'm going to show you guys a few things that are actually from space. You're like, I didn't know that was from space, and it's going to be really interesting. So let's get into that. So some of you guys have seen the rare fruit game recently explode. Like, oh, where are they getting all these rare fruits and exotic fruits? All of these are from space. So one of the deals that they make with some of these, what we would call like sellouts, is if you give me this and this and that, I can help you get onto the planet. I can get you a phone. I can get you food. Because one of the things that ends up happening is when you do things that are not good, like set people up, sell their works, start working on their planet, steal stuff, steal people, traffic people, hide people on the planet, take people off the planet. What ends up happening is your planet loses something called the growth factor, and you lose something called your grau di sana, aka your connection to the highest source that allows you to speak the hyperdimensional language, write the hyperdimensional language, grow food, grow yourself, and have something that we call melanin, which is a specific source of energy, which a lot of you guys know because they're selling melanin on the internet. Oh, let me show you that too, which is also from space. Right. Melanin is worth more than gold. By melanin, synthetic, they even have the real, right? Let's go ahead and see. Because I exposed this and then they like changed up the website, because Google can go ahead and like, oh, let's put this on top, let's put that on top. But they do it all the time to like start stuff with people, blacklist people, even put fake things, make up whole websites, just do a bunch of nonsense online because they have a server running in space where they can do that. Oh, $1,300 a unit, wait, for a gram of melanin, which is what makes us black, which is why they coined the term NIGGER to try to deactivate the power that was in melanin. If you feel bad about being dark skin or your skin color, then you won't activate the melanin, and then white supremacy will thrive, which is all a psyops. So anyways, and then this is why James Baldwin, he in that book, The Fire Next Time, he talks about this. And I am not your Negro. If white supremacy wasn't about inferiority, there would be no need for a nigger. So when you figure out why you're like doing all that and where that comes from, then you'll stop like hating on black people, and then there will be no need for DEI because we can all live in peace, right? So then that's one of the things, right? So you lose your growth factor. So they go to these planets and they steal these fruits. The funny thing is, this fruit with the hexagonal shape, this is for a specific type of divination. They take this, it's like the way that people use ayahuasca, peyote, things like that, which peyote in different places like Skittles. It's really, really weird, right? So what ends up happening is some of these people lose their ability to grow food on their planet, and then they sell out other planets. They create tunnels, they create secret passageways and things like that onto other planets so they can steal their food, steal their plants, steal seeds, things like that, and grow them on the planet. The funny thing is, why can they just grow it here? They can't, because of what was done to the planet, because of slavery, other atrocities, chemical poisoning, deliberate tampering with the atmosphere and certain layers of the Earth's core and Earth's crust. The holographic reality of the planet has been deactivated until further notice, because white supremacy is a direct opposition to the holographic reality, right? So when you guys are talking about environmental justice and people of color and environmental justice, you better be talking about that, or you're not talking about anything, which is another video I'm going to make in terms of why the philanthropy field is completely defunct and being flipped on its head, right? So what's currently happening right now is what's currently happening is there is a mad dash to bring these fruits to the planet. Oh, we can make money off this. 127 a box, and they're like, be like 3 or 4 in the box, right? But these are for divination, right? So imagine I don't know this. And I think that these are just like sweet fruits. It's a different type of pineapple. And I'm like eating this, right? And then what ends up happening is this is actually for divination. So then I start going schizophrenic or psychotic because my body doesn't actually have the specific holographic layer to like process the chemicals that are in this plant or in this fruit. So now there's a bunch of people walking around with like different diseases, different type of mental health problems, different type of chemical poisoning, different type of ailments that the medical industry cannot like address or is not even equipped to handle, right? Because they don't know what this chemical is. It doesn't exist on the planet. And the one or two people that are trying to bring this information are being stalked and harassed by white supremacists that are trying to keep making money off of this because they have nothing, right? So think about that, especially for some of the public health practitioners that are watching. Where is this going to go in the near future? Stay tuned for my public health report. Like I'm putting a lot about that in there and what you guys can do too. This is already a problem in regards to monkeypox. Monkeypox is from space. Right, just like, oh, COVID came from a pangolin. No, it didn't. That's a different type of disease, which is actually related to monkeypox. Monkeypox is actually nine different type of diseases that came from a specific vermin that was brought to space and a specific warfare that was waged upon people that were going into a certain planet, taking fruits, taking certain animals, and bringing them down to planet Earth to make money in the exotic fruit and animal game. So that's where that comes from. And no, you're not getting rid of it until you stop. So monkeypox is going to keep on going, and it's like 10 different diseases and a new STD, which I talked about on my YouTube channel some months ago and got stalked and harassed for. So let's keep on going. This is also from space. This is not related to the grapefruit. This is actually related to like, it's like a cross between the grapefruit and the raspberry and a different type of fruit that does not exist on this planet. Yes, it's for divination as well. A lot of these fruits are for divination. What is that? Like basically, like I said, taking ayahuasca, peyote, it's like for, they're ethnogens. They're used for psychedelic purposes. What? I thought, oh, these are all from space. Hey, so is there a pill that I can take that the FDA is making to like stop that? No, it's not going to work. Absolutely not. It's actually a curse to play with these people's fruit. You're only supposed to take this for your high priest or high priestess because you have a certain type of melanin or a certain type of DNA that can actually process this and like so it can do what it's supposed to do, which they're trying to break by harassing and stalking people of color, which is why white supremacy exists in the first place. If we can break their DNA through trauma, then they won't be able to divinate or go in the garden or activate their spiritual powers, and we can keep like enslaving them on the planet and in space. Oh, so that's, oh, okay. Yeah, let's write a book about that because that's what the whole like social justice and racial justice field is turning into now. How can we cloud chase with information that we didn't originate so we can seem smart? Because everyone's losing money for starting that virtual reality simulation that I've been talking about, including LinkedIn that lost 3 investors for playing with my account. Thank you. This is also from space. This is for divination. Actually, a lot of this is actually taken when so some of these fruits have something that we call an akasha or connected to certain akasha. So this fruit is supposed to be taken when you're having a child that is to have psychic powers. So in order to develop the specific layer that that child is supposed to have to activate those specific powers. Not everyone is a psychic, not everyone is intuitive, clairvoyant, etc. That is in itself a whole like racket. Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Right, exactly. And this is why you see things like this in the news. Thank you. Oh, okay. Thank you, Philadelphia Inquirer. But there's an article basically about, you can just go ahead and Google it. It's in Reuters too, because, oh, fake news. What's really real when people are paying to put articles in the news, right? So anyways, there's something going on where there's a chocolate shortage, cacao, because cacao is actually a type of like divinatory plant as well. And the hostess, Anna Kayona, who some of you guys know because you're cloud chasers in the indigenous space, or you've heard of her. Oh, who's Anna Kayona? She was like the last queen of Haiti, right? Because of what they did to her on this planet. She blocked cacao from growing here a long time ago. A lot of the plants that you guys see in what they call like the codex, they have something called like the codex. It's like an old book that they passed around because a lot of people, indigenous sellouts, were giving information about different medicines and plants and things like that, which is why you see what's happening with the cocaine industry, right? That's cacao. That's the coca leaf is actually medicinal, and you actually take it to actually add a specific layer onto your body that actually allows you to process more oxygen as you are going into heightened elevated states, like climbing the Andes mountains and things like that, so that you have more oxygen running through your body so that you don't lose your oxygen supply, which can then impact other aspects of your body. That's what it was for, not so that you can like get high and like white people can make a bunch of money off of it and then create crack cocaine and destroy the Black and brown community. So it's the same exact concept. It's from space, right? So that's going to be the new thing. It's from space, right? Oh, it's from space. That's why they have SpaceX and going to the moon. Let's go to Mars. Which one? There's 5, actually a 6th and a 7th one. Wow, I didn't know all this. How come you didn't know this? Because we've been trying to get this information out and they've been stalking and harassing us. So anyways, chocolate is facing a major shortage. So you're not really eating chocolate. You're eating some type of genetically modified goop that's like oil and like powder that's programmed with stem cells from fetal cells, which is why Planned Parenthood went on trial, which is actually on YouTube. I thought that was fake. No, it's on YouTube. The whole trial, like I watched it. Anyways, let's keep on going. What do you mean? They just program your taste buds. So you think it tastes like chocolate, but it's like bland. Okay, that's gross. Yeah, Pakistan's mango production fall by 50%. It's not a heat wave or water shortage. It's we're going to stop this from going because you're doing way too much. Argan oil. Where has all the argan oil gone? It's gone. And the Moroccan oil company, some of you guys know this, I like this, I use it for my hair too. They're one of the companies that get their supply from space because they know what they're doing and they know who they work with. A lot of these people, a lot of these companies, they know what they're doing, and that's why they're getting caught up now. And that's why you see certain like perfumes like Elizabeth Arden, Jimmy Choo, what's that one? Victor something with the flower bomb and other perfume companies. That's why you also see them going under and being sold for like pennies on the dollar. There's one that's at Ross. Oh, they sell it at CVS and I can get 40% off with my CVS Extra Care Pass. Free advertisement for them. Yes, you can. And why is that happening? Because they went to space and destroyed a bunch of flowers that don't exist on this planet. So you guys can have like really nice fragrances and stuff like that. And that's why sometimes when you walk into Victoria's Secrets or Pink or Bath and Body Works, it smells so bad because they curse those specific plants. So that's why it kind of smells like roses really smell like boo, boo, ooh, right? So it's from space. That's why. I noticed that when I walked into Victoria's Secrets, I was wondering why, because there's 2 plants that are in like everything because they're the mother of several plants and they curse them. So when you spray them, they mix together and create something that we call a nathoroid in etheric chemistry, which is a specific chemical component that actually creates a type of retraction in your senses. So what ends up happening is you don't get the good part of that scent, you get the curse only that was put onto those flowers because of what happened. And then also to those 2 plants, their scents don't agree. So when they're spraying them in the store and stuff like that, they have opposing scents because they do different things. One is for a specific type of action and one is for a different type of action. Like let's say for instance in chemistry, one is for expansive reactions and one is for reductive reactions. Thank you. So that's what's currently going on. So let's keep on going. The hair game. And I know a lot of my Black professionals are going to be like, oh, no, you didn't, Daisy. Don't expose us here. European women wear tracks too. And Asian American women wear tracks too. Asian men wear tracks too. Everyone wears clip-ins or tracks or fake hair in their hair. There's white men with toupees, like in your office, because they're aliens with no hair, right? So don't worry about that. And that whole only Black women wear weave, it needs to stop because this hair is actually coming from Black people in space. Wait, what? I was wondering where they got all this curly weave from. The supply versus the demand. Exactly. Just think about that. Supply versus demand. Something's going on here, right? How did they have so much of this? Thank you. So you see all this hair down to their butt and things like that. And they're selling, they have, wait, 4,000 orders. How many people are on the planet that's selling off their hair like that? Or is this fake? No, it's real hair. It's coming from space. What do you mean? They enslave planets of indigenous people, cut off their hair, and then bring it to the planet to make wigs and weave and shit like that. Right. And remember, I talked about the virtual reality simulation. So you have a bunch of white men like Mark Zuckerberg and Peter Thiel and this old CEO of LinkedIn and other people like screaming in my ear, like, you're a bitch and you're a nigger while I'm putting this information out. Thank you. And you can like hear them. Yeah, because I like also put it on my computer so that when I'm doing videos and things like that, like you can just hear it. Because they're all like schizophrenic and like delusional. So let's continue. So you see this? Also from space. It's from space. Oh, so I got space here. Does that mean that I'm galactic? No. It just means that you're going to get a bunch of bad luck because they curse all of this. Okay. Tesla going to the moon, which one? Are you talking about the fake one or the holographic one that you can't see unless you're actually like a high priestess? Or which one? The one that's on the third Mars, which that's where they have like a station. Where are they getting all the material for this? It's from space. That's why there's only like few. Yeah, it's a specific type of like metal that they're using for this, because the Department of Defense is actually going to be using this for like a specific warfare that's going to be happening because of what they started with some of these indigenous people. Oh, they said that this can like float. Where did they get those mechanics from space? It's a specific type of people that have like these type of mechanics. That makes sense. I saw Black Panther, Wakanda. Those are actually real people. And they actually ended up getting enslaved so that people can make that movie and not get cursed for it. Did they know? No. A lot of people didn't even know that. A lot of people in the movie didn't know. One of the white producers and stuff like that was involved, he knows what he was doing. Did Ryan Coogler know? He didn't know. Is that why T'Challa passed away? Yes and no, because he actually, it was from a federation that was close to him, so they hit him up, was what we call it, or they put him in what we call government-funded technology that is supposed to destroy your etheric body, which causes different cancers and illnesses. Thank you. Thank you, sister. There's more to be talked about, and he will have his time to speak. Wow, that's so interesting. So this is from space, and this is also from space, yes. Now I see why they keep on going to the moon. Why would I want to go to the moon or Mars? What's over there? Stations where they have a bunch of indigenous people being enslaved to make clothes and textiles and wigs and harvest food and change the energy in food so it doesn't make people poisoned on planet Earth. Here is anthropology, which a lot of you guys love. These are all patterns from space. I wondered how they were so creative. These are from indigenous people that get put into torture chambers and get their planets like hijacked so they can go ahead and make textiles and pretty rugs and clothes so that we can overprice it and sell it. When these are actually supposed to be gifts to the high priests and high priestesses. You're not actually supposed to have this unless you're a high priest or high priestess. So some of you guys are, is that why I'm getting cancer or have like night tremors or having mental illness? Yeah, because you have a textile in your house that's cursed because you're not supposed to have it. See, now seeing. Wow, stuff like this. So this, wait, but I know the Afghan and the Persian community, they do that too. Yeah, they're hyperdimensional, some of them, not all, because there's a whole new thing like, oh, I want to be more indigenous. Do you want none? From sellouts and cloud chasers. Now they want to be hyperdimensional. So a lot of you guys are like, oh, international, let's celebrate our food day. That's where that's coming from. Oh, I noticed people coming to work in head wraps and wanting to be more indigenous. And now I see where that's coming from. They want attention because there's a certain like type of gift that you get from actually not being a sellout that they're not getting. So they think that it's just like in food and head wraps, which is, we already did that. It's called Whole Foods and like the cultural food section, right? So let's keep on going. Oh, these are from space. Yeah, these are like for divination. I put my head on this and as I'm going into the garden, it protects me. Oh, I didn't know that. They're from space. So they trap a bunch of indigenous people and then force them to like make this type of stuff. So you guys can have like pretty things in your house. It's from space. There's more. There's a lot more. Seeing. I see. So Daisy, this is so unprofessional that this is happening. How do we, I want to create a task force for my job. Can you come to a training? Of course I can come to a training about this. Or you can stop putting me in virtual reality and like trying to bring it into your office because everyone knows what's going on and that's why you got fired, right? Because there's a lot of people like doing that. Like, oh, I want to talk about space and what's out there and Afrotech and our other bodies and existences. That's where they're getting it from, uploading me and my husband to virtual reality and like gang stalking us. Because this is like the life that I live because I'm not a sellout. So I can write the hyperdimensional language and activate it and do cool things that I'm trying to help the planet with that they're trying to stop, which is why like a lot of airlines, you guys heard, right? United Airlines is stopping service in a lot of places because of what they did to the environment with all the different forever chemicals that actually deactivate a specific etheroid and oil that allow it to actually create a specific combustion effect to allow an engine to like go, zoom, boom, stay in the sky, airplane mode, all that type of stuff. Oh, so that's what, yeah. And that's why Kim Kardashian, free advertising, right? That's why Kim Kardashian has a private jet company that she just launched because, oh, the airlines are not like flying as much. Let me go ahead and like rack up a few jets and we'll do that. And that's why that's happening right now. So, oh, so this is serious. Yeah, it's serious. It's going to destroy the planet, which is why there's a war. I know the Epoch Times, who it's unfortunate what happened to them. They were a really solid news source There's a lot that happened behind the scenes. Please don't dock the old founder. A lot happened to him. He was really manipulated. He was harassed. He was stalked, like the owner, the CEO, the chief editor of the Sun newspaper as well, for putting out good information. These are also from space. And that's why a lot of people are running around with like different skin diseases and looking crazy and stuff like that. And this is why when you see all that stuff with the border, this is also one of the issues too, because they were forcing a lot of those people to harvest this food, and they were actually bringing them from space and taking them out to space to like work. And that's one of the reasons why they started all that madness. And they were also attacking their indigenous bodies out in space. What does that mean? Come get a training and I'll talk more about that, because I know that there's a lot of people, our indigenous bodies, like Dr. Joy DeGru, who's been completely blacklisted and lost her license and her ability to practice psychotherapy in the state of California and other states for putting me in virtual reality and gang stalking me to get information to sound more spiritual, which is what's happening now. That's why you see like all these like white tickies, like, let's talk about love and healing. Before or after you called me a black bitch and a nigger for a whole year and try to like kill my husband and inject a bunch of bullshit in his blood as a senior investigator at the FBI. That's so unprofessional, Daisy. Why are you talking about that? You tell me, because you're in my ear every day and it's like recorded and online, people can hear it. So let's continue. There's more, there's always more. What else is happening? Food shortage. Some of you guys have seen a video floating in the ethers. And this video is actually of a, egg that had two yolks and another egg inside. That sounds crazy. What? That's called an abomination, right? So what's happening now is because of the genetic modifying of animals. Like, wait, what do you mean genetically modified animals? How? What is happening here? Some of you guys thought that this was like Photoshop. It wasn't. The person that like exposed this ended up disappearing, by the way. Go ask for where they are. Genetically modified chicken. Wait, what do you mean? Oh, we'll just like make them in a lab with CRISPR. What's CRISPR? That sounds like a type of chip. It is now. Oh, like chipping your skin? Yes, but then potato chip? Yeah, because they put it in the food to change your DNA. It's called nanotechnology. Oh, CRISPR, I've heard of this, where they can like change your DNA and they can edit your embryos and everything like that. So if my child has Down syndrome in the womb, they can edit that out. Yeah, and they can do it to food too, and then create clones, which is what World Economic Forum. Talk about bioprinting. Oh, 3D printed steaks, that's actually so cool. But wait, was I 3D printed? You can do that to humans? Wait, yeah, you can. So one of the things that you guys are gonna start to see is a bunch of nonsense and chaos coming out in regards to supply and demand and where this stuff has been coming out. This is the world's first 3D printed ribeye steak. They've been doing it since like the 60s, because real cows no longer exist on the planet. What have we been eating? It's from space, like literally. So you mean to tell me that, wait, how do they have so many cows on the planet? Doesn't it take like a long time to like create them? And where are they being stored? I know that there's not that much space on the planet. So we've been eating like cows from space. Yes, that stopped a long time ago. So then they have cloned cows. Yes. And then I'm hearing a bunch of stuff about like human like DNA being found in meat. I just eat chicken because that's what Black people do, right? With like watermelons that are also genetically modified. Wow. So now what's coming out is there's a lot of tampering that's been in the food supply. You clearly see it with that double chicken and the egg inside, which is like really like strange and a genetic abnormality. And you're going to keep seeing that because the hyperdimensional races of people are cursing the planet because of what they keep on doing to indigenous people, the technology they keep on playing with, how they keep on going in and out of their planet, starting chaos and nonsense, and this nonsensical virtual reality simulation that they started to destroy Black and brown people once and for all by screaming and chanting in your ear and trying to destabilize your DNA and your melanin and your blood flow so that we can reinstitute white supremacy because how dare you create Black Lives Matter, even though Alicia Garza is an operative and sold out a bunch of Black and brown people who are like missing from like quote unquote rallies, but they were at her house for dinner. She wasn't at a rally. Whoa, wow, that's explosive. So now what's going to start to happen is you guys are going to start to see that a lot of this stuff that you guys have been eating, it's from space. So my blanket, this could be from space. Wow, my memory foam mattress is actually from like a planet in space that are all about like sleep and relaxation. And you mean to tell me that this is from space? That's why I'm getting curses? Yeah, because you know what you were doing. Whoa, I didn't know that. What about my water supply space? How? Flint, why is this still going? Because it's a type of like lead that keeps on reproducing on itself, and it can attach to any like live element like real water or food or your blood or your nervous system or your hair and keep reproducing itself. So that's why Flint is like going through so much a catastrophe because we brought a lot of water in and we did a lot of work. Yeah, it was like a spiritual attack. Oh, because that actually eats up like your etheric nervous system that allows you to actually like have a prefrontal cortex and creates more trauma in your life. And then there's a bunch of studies about lead being linked to like violence and early death and preterm birth. And I didn't know that. How come Atisha wasn't talking about that? The scientist that they hired, because she was hired to like fudge a bunch of investigations and research, which is why she lost her degree. It's from space. So just get used to me saying that. So anyways, you guys, I just want to come out here and put this video out and talk about this because for a lot of product managers and a lot of people who work in supply and demand and a lot of like business owners, you guys are entrepreneurs, you're makers and things like that. You use these products in like making your meats or making your foods or making your beauty products or making your clothes and things like that. And you need to know what's currently going on, okay? What about cotton? It's genetically modified. So that doesn't really matter because it's connected to a server where they can like put nanotechnology on your skin and stuff like that and then constantly have like diseases running in and out of your bloodline. Daisy, can you teach a class about this? I can. Just sign up, right? Because they're always putting like shadow banning code on my sites and LinkedIn and things like that so people can see what I'm posting and talking about. Shadow banning. Yeah, it's the same type of algorithm that they're putting on like Lyft, Uber driver accounts so that they don't get rides, but all white supremacists do. That makes sense. I'm gonna bring you into talk. Come bring me into talk. Let's talk. Let's talk, sister. Seeing, now knowing, high priestess. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you really enjoyed this. Bye. Oh, speaking of, adhesives are going to go defunct because there's a certain like chemical that they were getting from space and that's being removed from the planet.